On this episode of the Grow Your Video Business podcast, learn the best strategy to use for landing big clients. You also learn the two things that people are getting wrong with YouTube and what my guest Scott would do today if YouTube went down. What's up, friend? Hey, welcome to this episode. Incredibly powerful stuff. Scott Simson is a YouTube master. If I started sharing, I was going to try to share some numbers of like views and subscribers and things that he's done, how he's helped clients get seen on YouTube. It is unbelievable. So stick around. This is a very, very good and insightful interview. Before we get into the episode, I want you to know that I am putting together a brand new workshop to help you grow your video business. And I want to hear from you. What is the thing that you need in your business? Like, when you wake up in the morning and you put your 2 feet on the ground and you're like, getting ready to get up out of bed, what is the problem that you have in your business? Or what's the frustration that you're experiencing? Let me know that. Shoot me an email. I can be found at ryan@studiosherpas.com, or you can shoot me a DM. Or if you're in our Facebook group, the Grow Your Video Business Facebook group, hop into the group and start a thread and just say, man, if you're going to do a workshop, do this, please. And I would love to create the kind of content that will help you build the kind of business that you want to have. If you're not in the Facebook group, it's called the Grow Your Video Business Facebook group. So just go into Facebook and type that in. You'll see the group. Get in there. Start building community. Incredible people in there. And it would be great to see you. I'm going to be honest. You're watching this video. The Onward Summit just finished today. I am spent. I am so exhausted. It was an incredible 3.5 days. Yeah, something like that. It was unbelievable. It was so great. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night. And at some point, you're going to see my podcast room, this room right here, got taken over by some of the crazy people that attended the Onward Summit. So we'll compile that video at a later day and time, and we'll actually post it in the Facebook group. So make sure you get in there, and if you attended, you signed away all your rights, so I can use that footage however I want to use it. So anyway, let's hear a word from our sponsor and jump into this episode. If there was one thing that could have ended my business 17 years ago, it would be because of the numbers. I hate accounting, taxes, W-9s, W-2s, W-40s, spreadsheets, all of that stuff. And I hate it mostly because I'm afraid of it. I'm just not great with numbers. If this sounds familiar, or if you're so new in your business that it's not even on your radar yet, you need Core Group. Core Group can help you create financial systems and tax strategies that you need so you can grow profitably, and they've been doing this for over 20 years. They become an extension of your team so that you can stay in your lane of expertise and then lean on them to help guide you along the way. For me, having a team of experts in my corner to help keep track of our books and just to make sure that we're budgeting for taxes appropriately, to have an actual strategy for our taxes and our accounting is priceless. And it allows me to sleep easier at night, knowing that I don't have to be an expert in that arena. If you want to avoid surprises in your video business, and you want experienced help building a plan for the future that you want, both professionally and personally, head over to studiosherpas.com/core for more information. And when you're ready to set up a free consult with them, make sure to mention Studio Sherpas for a special discount too. Got your back. Get more out of your accountant. Go to studiosherpas.com/core. What's up, friends? Hey, welcome to this episode of the show. Today, my guest is Scott Simson. Scott is a YouTube content creator. He's got almost 400,000 followers, and he's the CEO of Video Marketing World. His videos have racked up a mere 120 million views, and he is responsible for helping generate hundreds of millions of views and millions of dollars in revenue for his clients. So impressive. Scott, I can't wait to hear how you're going to transform my business today.
Yay.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much for having me, Ryan. I'm really excited to be here, and it's going to be an eventful show. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too. And I really just have a podcast to get free consulting. So thank you again in advance for all of the work that we're going to get done today. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, half kidding.
Hey, I'm
Okay.
a giver. I'm a giver anyway, so you could have just asked. And
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yes, that's great. I love that you're a giver. Are you serious when you say that?
I actually am. It gets me into trouble sometimes, so I have limitations. But usually, usually when one of my core philosophies, if I want to work with somebody who is at the next level, I will give my way into their inner circle. So I've done that with people like Russell Brunson and like Peng Joon, some of these big marketers in the marketing industry, and it served me very well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Have you read the book Giftology?
I have not.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I love that.
Have you read Go Giver?
Yes. Yeah, that was actually the
Bob
next
Burg?
one. Yeah, actually, I've had Bob on the show. Which
nice.
is pretty awesome. Yeah.
great
That book was
book.
super transformative. My buddy Graham Cochran is a huge fan of him, and he's the one who introduced me to that whole idea and concept. And I think there were parts of that, just like the golden rule, like trying to embrace that and live that out in my day-to-day life, and not wanting to be one of those like sleazy business people that's like, oh man, if I do this, then I'm going to get that. Like that's not like, I'm not like tit for tat. That's not what my approach has ever been. I think that's icky, and I feel like you can sense that from a mile away. But the Go Giver, I just feel like was such a good representation of like how I want to be a giver. So when you said that, that was actually the first thing that I thought of. I was like, oh, I wonder if he knows
The secret.
the secret. That's
No,
good.
that's really, I mean, that's how we've built like our entire agency, was just by doing things that were above and beyond for our community for free, and then just waiting until they were interested in working with us, and just continuing to give to them until they were interested in working with us. And what happens is, like, I've realized, especially on YouTube, I can give away my most valuable content and people still want to pay to work with me. And it's because, number one, they think I'm holding back. I'm not.
Yeah.
Number two, even if I give away my most incredible secrets, they still need help with implementation, because that's something that you can't like just take and put in place for yourself. You need guidance and help. So anyway,
I love
sorry,
that.
went off on a tangent there.
No, that's beautiful. I mean, I think it's inspiring, especially being in the world of like, digital marketing, online courses, all of that stuff. People tend to feel like, man, I don't want to give away all my secrets, because then what are people going to buy? But exactly what you're saying, it sounds like you have kids there, which is amazing. I'm glad that you're working from home. You're like, oh no, I have kids here. What's going on?
They're the loudest kids ever. That's the thing. Like, they're
the best.
so loud.
Dude, put them in school already. I mean,
My wife homeschools all four kids.
Oh,
So-
yeah, that's it. Great.
Yeah. So I get this all day long.
Yes. So as I was saying before, I was rudely interrupted by screaming children. The beauty in giving away exactly what you said is that there's this idea of like strategy and experience and kind of big picture that you have, that even if you give those secrets away, people still need that hand holding, and a lot of times they realize, like, you know what, if I want to do this faster and I want to do it better, let me just bring in the professional. I've learned from him. I built that trust. I bought his, program or whatever. Now I have a better idea of what has to happen. I still don't want to do it. It's still not worth my time to do it. So let's bring in the pro. And I just think that's a great lesson. So thank you for sharing it like that, because I think a lot of times we might be holding back or hesitant to share. And when you plant those seeds, when you try to invest in other people, there's a huge return. And sometimes it's business related, and other times it's just like, this is a fulfilling life.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree.
So let's go on a tangent. Why the heck are you homeschooling? I'm just kidding.
Give me 2 seconds here. I'm gonna
You're
tell
fine.
my kids to keep it down.
Yeah.
We'll just cut this, right? Because you said we're good to go.
No, let's leave this in, editors. This is great. Scott, we'll see you in a minute.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Great time for our ad. Yeah, go. Poor guy. That's good. Just glad it's not me.
Will you
Amber, get those kids to quiet down. My goodness, I'm on a professional podcast. Hooping, no more hooting, hollering.
Love you, buddy. Okay, just keep it down, bud. Okay.
The nerve of this guy. The nerve of this guy. Yeah, I can't believe. No, he's got his kids running around. It's like so obnoxious. I'm like, what the heck are you doing, man? It's like these annoying kids. Oh, you're back. Oh, hey, sorry.
Yeah.
I was talking to the wall.
That's so funny, man. It's I've gotten used to just like tuning it out, but then I forget and I got this cardioid mic. I'm like, gosh, it's not going to pick it up, and it still does. And I got sound. Like, what's going on here?
That's good. Well, okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Game face back on. What was your light bulb moment when you started creating? I know nothing about your journey, but when you started creating videos for YouTube, and maybe the light bulb was before that, but when you realized that you could make a legitimate business out of this whole thing.
So, my journey is a little bit different than a lot of other people because I started in business before we got on YouTube. So I didn't get on YouTube to just like create random videos like a lot of people do. I got on YouTube very intentionally. My wife and I wrote 2 books, one in 2010, one in 2011. They were in personal development category. And I used to go to different businesses and organizations and train on the principles in these books. And my wife got pregnant in 2014, and she's like, "Hey, you can't do this anymore. I need you at home." And I'm like, "Well, how am I supposed to grow this business from my house? Like, is that even possible?" and then we started watching YouTube and learned how to do it, and I started putting personal development content on YouTube, and then all of a sudden it just started picking up steam. Then I had 1,000 subscribers, and I'm like, I've got a captive audience of 1,000 people on my videos. That's bigger audience than I've ever spoken to in person. These people are buying our book. These people want to hire me to come and speak places. Like, this is a great, legitimate source of lead generation for my business. And then we kind of deviated from the business side of YouTube and started making family content because every content creator has like an evolution on YouTube, and that's how you learn and how you grow is by testing and trying new things. And so we ultimately turned into a family vlogging channel that had motivation and principles of success as kind of like our underlying theme. And then ultimately, like, we went full time. We were able to go full time on YouTube from 2017 to 2019. Wow. And the revenue was insane. And it was more than I had ever really expected. Like, we were doing 6 figures of revenue from YouTube every year, and it was insane. And so I think that the light bulb was like, it was like one of those knobs, in like your dining room where you just like slowly turn it up brighter and brighter and brighter. And I didn't realize how awesome it was until it was shining bright. And I was like, oh, this is great. This is my job. Just hanging out with my family, making videos.
Yeah, that's weird. I didn't know you had kids.
They're not mine.
What was the main message? I didn't realize that you had written books. That's super cool. In the personal development, like, what's kind of like the Cliff's Notes or like the main kind of theme of some of that stuff that you were sharing?
Yeah, I can go back a little bit further and tell you kind of our journey. It's pretty insane, but essentially when my wife and I got married in 2004, we were very entrepreneurial. We just wanted to start businesses and work for ourselves. And we started businesses, and we kept failing at business. And it was like, man, why aren't we succeeding? Why can't we make revenue or make profit with these businesses? And in 2009, we had one of our businesses failed, and it completely like destroyed us financially. Like back then it was a ton of money for us because we were young. We were in our early 20s. It was like $60,000. Like today, that doesn't sound like a lot, but back then that was like 3 times our annual salary.
Yeah, right.
And so in the middle of this like complete crash of our financial situation. Not to mention like the housing market had just popped,
Yep.
and we had over leveraged on our house and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, man.
But in the middle of that, we're like, you know what? Every entrepreneur fails before they become successful. And so we're going to just take this as education, and we're going to build our life back up, and we're going to be great. And so the book that we wrote, it's called Fox in the Mountain. The first one was a children's book, completely illustrated. I mean, it's awesome. I still have like 400 copies actually under this thing over here. You can't see it, but
it's what mounts your camera. Like you're
I got
able to...
I got boxes of books still. And this book was all about this fox's journey up this mountain, and all of the characters he runs into who tell him he can't make it to the top of this mountain, where there's this like amazing fruit that is unlike any other fruit that's found in the valley. And so it's all about overcoming obstacles. And really we wrote it as a roadmap for us getting out of our financial situation, our troubles that we were in. And a couple years after we wrote it, like slowly but surely, we climbed our way back out and built up this incredible business that we have now, and feel like we're finally tasting that fruit at the top of the mountain. And we wrote it all in this book 10 years ago. So it's pretty remarkable how life does that to you sometimes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Just the spirit of, we're failing. And what can we do? What can we learn from this? And then ultimately, how can we help other people? I think that's awesome.
I see people who are struggling in the same circumstances all the time. And what typically happens is one of two things. Either one, they try to make a quick decision that's a quick fix that leads them to worse circumstances until they figure out that doesn't work. Or two, they dig their heels in and they really, really get to work, and just doing the right things, no matter how long it takes to get out of it. And really only one of those two paths will get you out of those situations. And I've seen people just spiral, just completely downward spiral, because they just keep making decisions that put them further and further back.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, it's even funny just hearing you describe about getting married. My wife and I got married in 2003, and sort of similar journey. Like housing market. It's kind of like, wow, business is tough. Although she didn't work with me, we worked for like 2 seconds together and realized like we should just really work on our marriage and trying to have a family versus like trying to make money together. That was awkward.
Yeah, it doesn't always work the greatest.
No, it doesn't always work. The marriage is great, but yeah, business partners, no, thank you. How does your agency work? Like, what's the makeup, and tell me more about how you guys help people.
So yeah, our agency is a YouTube only agency. So we work with clients, either individual brands or bigger businesses that are interested in just outsourcing their YouTube to somebody who actually knows and understands how to grow on YouTube. And so we work with, I worked on Russell Brunson's YouTube strategy. I work with Alex Hermosi. He's another big marketer. There's a lot of cool people that I've been able to interact with and help them with their YouTube channel. But yeah, we are exclusive to YouTube. We've tried doing Instagram and Facebook, and that was a big mistake. So we're locked in on YouTube because that's our bread and butter. That's what we understand and know. So it works well for us.
And how does that, what does that look like? Like somebody calls you and says, "Hey, Scott, I need your help." And what is your process?
Yeah, so we have, typically, all of my business comes from word of mouth, and we have two services that we offer. We have a done-for-you service where we will literally take their raw footage. They have to film everything. We take their raw footage, we edit it, we clean it up, we SEO, we upload it to YouTube, we SEO their YouTube videos, we do the title research, their thumbnail design, and then we just make sure that everything is functioning correctly. Our other services is a 6-week coaching program where we just work with our clients and their teams for 6 weeks, 6 weeks, get them up to speed, try to teach them everything that we know, download all of our data from our brains into their brains, and then make sure that they're, they got everything to be successful.
And what do you do more of? Like, what are people?
It's really like a good mix, because when I have conversations with people and potential clients, I'll give them both packages, and a good half the time they want done for you, and the other half they want to just do it all themselves. I'm finding that it's kind of a double-edged sword. We have more success and faster success when we just take the client stuff and do it ourselves.
Right.
But we also feel the ups and downs of the YouTube algorithm and what they choose to push in a certain day. And so we get emotionally attached to those accounts, which can be good and it can be bad.
Yeah. Right.
Whereas when we just train and we do the 6-week program, it's very easy for us to just be amped the whole time and just be excited for their successes and not ever have to participate in the valleys that YouTube kind of puts you in. So I'd say, I don't know which one I like most, but I think that there's a little bit more positivity in being a coach as opposed to being the guy that is responsible for your ups and downs.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. I can get behind that. What would you say? What's the most common or biggest issue that most people have when they come to you?
Most of the time it's that they've been creating content for a good long chunk of time and they're just not seeing any results. And usually they're not seeing results for just very few, very simple, easy to fix reasons. And that's typically your titles are terrible. They're not optimized for the human or for the algorithm or for the recommended algorithm on YouTube. And your thumbnails suck. And thumbnails are huge. Like, thumbnails are arguably more important than actually your content that you're creating. You can create content with your cell phone, and if you have an amazing thumbnail, the video will blow up. It doesn't matter. And so most people will spend 10 minutes on Canva putting together a thumbnail that they think looks good and piques their interest with all these words describing what the video is about. And in reality, nobody cares about that, and they'll just scroll right past it. So our job as thumbnail designers is to pique curiosity first and foremost and get the audience member to ask themselves a question. Like, when they see the thumbnail, we need them to ask a question. If they ask themselves a question, then they have to click on it to get that question answered.
I like that. I'm writing that down. Audience has to ask a question. That's good. Well, so we're, don't laugh at me.
No. That's what I'm saying.
I take
Free
good
consulting.
notes.
Here we go.
That's right. So we are a service-based business, right? We're talking to the service-based business crowd that actually provides video production to our clients, right? So that's kind of like the inception. We're YouTube is videos. We're making videos. We also have to promote what we do, right? So there's this, like, in video just makes sense to be one of the forms of the ways that we promote ourselves. How would you recommend video service-based businesses be using YouTube?
So there's a couple of ways to do this. One of my friends, Sydney Diongzan, he has a YouTube channel, and he is a videographer, very talented videographer here in Dallas. And he built his YouTube channel talking about gear and talking about style and talking about the adventures that he's had as a videographer. And he has over 100,000 subscribers, and he brings in just as much income as a YouTuber as he did as a videographer. So essentially, he doesn't need to be a videographer anymore. He can just create content for himself.
Right.
That's kind of the double-edged sword of being a content creator / service provider, though, is that you will get to the point where creating content becomes more fun, more fulfilling, and easier than going out and working with clients. And so you have a choice to make whether to continue to do your service or go full time as a YouTuber. But what the way that service providers should be thinking about that is they should be a creator and focus on that, and then take what they want to take over here. So that way their overall quality of life and the joy and happiness that they feel is a whole lot higher, because now they're not taking the scraps that are left over or the stuff that they don't want to have to take. They're just going to take it just to make money, and they can choose to take what they want. And they can also charge a premium, because most likely people are going to find them from being a YouTube creator, and you can charge a premium because they want to work with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like with Sydney, like the stuff that the way that he's making money, I'm assuming most of the people that are following him are interested in video, like video production. They're not like clients. Like, I don't know who his clients were before he started this YouTube channel, but it sounds like somebody like me might be like, oh, this guy, like he's doing cool. He's got cool stuff. I like seeing how he's working. That would be inspiring to me. Am I kind of accurate with his audience, his YouTube audience?
Yeah. I mean, you got to think though, with like, if you get 20,000 people who are watching every one of your videos, a majority of those people are going to be that audience of videographers, but there is a good chance that 100 or 200 people are finding you because they're looking for a videographer, or they're finding you because they want to learn how to shoot video for their business, and they're coming to you for tips, and they're just like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to hire Sydney to do it. And so the higher, or the bigger you grow your audience, the bigger you grow your target audience of people that you actually want to be working with you, or who you want them to hire you.
Yeah.
So like, for example, I've got a set of clients right now. They're plumbers in California, in Los Angeles, and they do rodent removal as well. And so they're very unique in the rodent removal business, because they're like one of the only rodent removal businesses that can go in, cut open walls, cut open pipes, and see if the rats are coming in through the pipes. And they've built up this YouTube channel that's really awesome to watch, because they take you into clients' homes and they do this like detective work of how these rats are getting in, and they get thousands of views every video all over the world, but they're doing $30,000 to $50,000 every single week from YouTube in Los Angeles, from people in LA who have seen their channel and need to hire them for their rodent removal needs. And so they have built this audience of people who just want to watch them for entertainment, but they've also built this audience of people who want to hire them, and they pay a premium for it because they're on YouTube. They're famous.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. That's cool. So let's just say, pretend like I'm Michael Scott. Tell me like I'm 5. So I'm a videographer. I've got a bunch of different clients. Maybe I'm shooting some weddings. I've got, plumbing clients that are, having me follow them around and create this documentary series. And then I've got, just this warehouse. I'm just filming B-roll at this warehouse. And I'm making a pretty good living. Like it's going fine. It's hard. It's a little bit challenging to find my next client, but they're kind of slowly trickling in. I'd love to be able to charge more, but it's a challenge. But I love creating content. Like I love creating meaningful stuff. I want my clients to hire me to create meaningful stuff for them. Should I start a YouTube channel? And if so, like what's a good next step for me?
Yeah, the answer is yes. and for a couple of reasons. Number one, YouTube is a search engine, and so and your content is evergreen, and so people can find your stuff forever, and you can continue to get leads to your business forever. So that's the answer to the first part of my answer. The second part of my answer is to the question of what should you be creating. What are you passionate about? Like, what could you sit down, write 50 topics about, and you're just like, man, I know everything about this. And if you have become the specialist at filming slow motion, right? Then do a whole channel. Everything's in slow motion. Everything is slow-mo shots. that channel would crush it. There's a channel called, I think it's called the Slow Mo Guys, and they built their channel just on slow motion videos, and they crush it. If you're a specialist in the food industry and you're really, really good at filming commercials for local restaurants, talk about the aspects of what goes into a really good promo video for a restaurant, and build your channel on marketing for restaurants. And the thing is, like, if you go niche like that, instead of trying to go broad, you're going to attract more of the clients that you want, and you're going to be specialized on YouTube. Whereas these other guys are talking about their camera gear, and they're talking about how to frame a shot, and they're talking about, all of these really like videography 101 type lessons. You come in and you're like, I'm the guy who shows people how to shoot restaurants, and you become the brain surgeon in your industry, because you're so focused on that you can charge a premium for your services because you are the specialist. And then you also are, are you familiar with the blue water, red water, like blue ocean, where it's like, you go into blue water and you start a business, and then all the sharks come and they start the same business, and then the water becomes red. It's like a feeding frenzy. So if you go on YouTube as the specialist, then you're in blue ocean and nobody else is there, and you're all by yourself, and you can essentially own that space as the restaurant videographer. So that's what I would say is how you get on YouTube as a videographer.
I love that. That's great. Yeah, I think a lot of us fall into the trap because we love gear so much, and because we love editing so much, that typically, like, if we start a YouTube channel, when I say we, I mean I'm using us videographers in general, but those are the kinds of videos that we would create, or we would just post like whatever recent client video that we finished, and I've got this plumbing video, I've got this wedding video, I've got this me behind the scenes. Like,
it becomes a portfolio. Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do as a service provider.
And talk a little bit more about that. Why is that so bad?
Because it segments your audience, and YouTube is very much like audience oriented. They want to know exactly who your target audience is so they can feed it to you. And once they get it, they will feed you more of that audience, and you'll blow up a YouTube channel. If you are a guy who films plumbing, and a guy who films restaurants, and a guy who talks gear tech and does unboxings, then you become a camera, a videographer thrown in with 100,000 other videographers who are doing the exact same thing. So my whole philosophy is pick a very specific niche, focus on that, grow your business on that, and then go broad as that niche becomes populated with people. And so don't start broad and then go focused. Start focused and then go broad, and YouTube will reward you for that.
I love that. That's really good. And it's the same advice that we have for people when they're building their web page, the front page of their website, their portfolio on their website. Like, those are places that you can create or craft your site in a way that says, like, these are ideal clients, these are ideal projects. Not all of the projects, but building that niche, creating that niche, so that people really know what you stand for and what you care about, what you're most excited about. And just because maybe you're only showing these plumbing documentary pieces on these plumbers, and you've got a few different people that you've worked with in that capacity, doesn't mean that's the only work that you'll ever do. If you're posting that just on your channel, or you're posting that just on your website, but what it allow people to do is see, like, this is the kind of style, this is the kind of work that I want for my brand, for my company. So let's hire him. I'm not a plumber, but I'm a mechanic, or I'm a teacher, or whatever the thing is. Ryan, I want you to be able to do what you did for the plumbers for us, even though what we do is completely different. I want that same look, feel, vibe, the energy that you bring. Like, that's what we're after, not plumbing.
Exactly. Yep, exactly. So it's like going specific allows you to go broad easier. And I think that's probably one of the biggest mistakes that I see new entrepreneurs make, is that they feel like they need to be the service provider for every single little aspect of what their clients might need. And
Yeah.
so ultimately they end up running like 15 different businesses because they're focusing on this, and they've got this service, and they've got this department. And in reality, it's like if you get really, really good at one thing, then you will not only attract your ideal client, but you'll be able to charge a premium for it because you become the expert. You become the expert of that one thing. Like for me, like I was saying, like I used to do, we did Instagram management. We tried Instagram management in our agency for like 3 months. And ultimately it was a massive headache because we didn't have the proper systems put in place. We didn't understand the neediness of the clients who are posting images every day or videos every day on Instagram. And so it completely threw off our entire business model. And we almost ended up losing clients from it because of it. And so ultimately we're just like, nope, we're done doing Instagram. And we're just going to focus exclusively on YouTube. And I charge a lot for YouTube, but I'm also really good at it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's really good. What about, so let's say I start this channel, couple of fears or one major fear would be like, well, what happens if YouTube changes, if they, just get shut down, whatever. There's a lot of like, well, you built this like massive audience. Like, are they just hanging out on YouTube, or are you inviting them anywhere else that you might be able to keep some of those if and when, YouTube just disappears?
Yeah, I get asked that question a lot. What happens if YouTube disappears? First of all, I mean, that's a risk that you want to take. It's like, what happens if your business burns down? It's like, it's the same thing. It's like, it could happen. Is it likely? No, not really. But what's more likely is that another platform will come up and it'll start to overtake the YouTube audience. And then worst case scenario is you just start migrating stuff over to this new platform. One of the things that we promote and educate our clients on is the power of building an email list. The money for your business is in your email list. And what I mean by that is, like, if you have a built-in email list, you are in charge of how often those people receive information from you. You're also in charge of how many of those people receive your message. So it's like, if you have 100,000 people on your email, you're probably going to have a 20 to 30% open rate. Whereas with YouTube, if you have 100,000 subscribers, you could have one video that does 150,000 views. You could have another video that does 2,000 views. You have no control over how many people see your content on YouTube. Their algorithms do. Whereas with your email list, that everybody, you're always going to have a solid percentage of people that are going to open your emails. And then you can sell to them without being suppressed. On social media, it's like if you put an outside link on Facebook into the main body of your post, it gets suppressed. Like Facebook doesn't show that stuff because they want to keep people on Facebook. And we run into that a lot, in our groups and on our, on our main pages. Like if we're trying to get people to buy tickets to our events or whatever, and we send them off site, Facebook hates that. So all those posts get suppressed. So I lost track. Did I answer the question?
You did.
Yes.
So
yeah, email list.
I think that's super smart. I mean, I agree. I believe it. Any strategy for how people should be inviting them to their list, knowing that, hey, maybe like my video is going to get suppressed now that, Scott said that might happen if I'm sending them somewhere else. Like what would you suggest how I could grow my list through my YouTube channel?
So number one, YouTube, any social media platform, any post that you do should have they should all be focused on value. Like you need to be it's value first. Don't just be a billboard for your business and talk about your specials or talk about your offerings or talk about, hey, you want to come work for me or work with me or hire me. Don't be that guy. You want to focus on value first. And then what'll happen is as you start to build a following of people who are like, man, every time Scott says something, he drops these value bombs. This is incredible. Then you'll start to get people who are just like naturally wanting to be a part of your community, take things to that next level. And so it's really easy for you to be like, hey, and if you guys want, I've got this newsletter that goes out once a week where I'm talking about X, Y, or Z. Take it or leave it. I don't need your email, but if you want to join the community, you want to be part of the inner circle, then there's a link down in the description below. And if you do something like that and it's very passive and not demanding or not salesy, people will join it. Even if you've got a free lead magnet where it's like, hey, if you guys want to take advantage of my top 7 ways to grow on YouTube, it's a very short, quick checklist, but it's produced amazing results for a lot of people, then click the link in the description below. Again, if you don't want it, no problem. And then the more that you do that, the more people will trust you and like you and want to be a part of your inner circle because they like you and they trust you. And then your email list will grow. We haven't posted a promotion to our email list in probably 2 years on our main YouTube channel, and I still get email subscribers all the time from old content, just that we just shouted out our email list. If you want to join the Scott and Cam Fam Club, click the link in the description below. So it's very easy to build email lists as long as you focus on value.
Yeah, that's awesome. So are you still putting in links in all of your videos to your email list?
I think there might be some links in our description. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't been focused on our main channel in probably a year and a half because my business is completely transformed from full-time YouTuber to agency, and so I haven't been focused on building our family vlog email list in a good long while.
Yeah, that's good. All right, last question. This is a small one. What's the secret formula to viral video? How can my next video, I want it to be viral. How can I make it viral?
So there's a number of things that contribute to viral video. The most important thing, the easiest way is, I don't even say that. I'll just say there are 2 simple ways to make viral content. One is by creating content that is emotional, that triggers an emotional reaction in your audience. Number 2 is by doing something so cool that your audience has to share it. And a lot of the reason it still is an emotional reaction, but it's built upon them wanting to share something so that that way they can increase their status by having something that's like, hey, look how cool this is. And by association, I'm cool for sharing it. So those are the 2 most simple ways to create something that's viral. There are obviously like a lot of elements that go into viral content. A lot of it is timing, like how quick do you get to the emotion, or how much is the buildup? How many loops do you open, and how big are they open? And then how do you close those loops? And so you'll see, for example, a lot of the videos that go viral or that went viral, like 5-10 years ago were like those, dad coming home from Afghanistan as a soldier and surprising his kids. And so the ones that did the best were like the ones that were set up where there was like something really, there were stakes involved. Like one of the ones that I remember was like an assembly, and it was a school assembly, and the kid was called down to the floor, and they had the surprise for him, and he's blindfolded, and then his dad walks up behind him, he takes his blindfold off and sees his dad, and then jumps in his dad's arms, and it's just like, boom, man, there's so much emotion there. But the setup was super cool. The stakes were super cool because number one, he was in front of this massive audience of kids. Number two, there's some what's it, like social proof associated with like doing things big in a big way in front of a big audience. And so, a school assembly is something that's unique enough that it's like, if you can hack or hijack a school assembly to get this emotional reaction, then boom. That's like destined to go viral. One of the videos that we did that I mean, it was on YouTube. I don't really consider a lot of things to go viral on YouTube because it's like their algorithm picks things out, and then you can get more clout. I mean, you can get more momentum, just from their algorithm liking your content and pushing it. But one of the videos that we did was we did this. We contacted the local fire department, and we're like, hey, will you come to our community pool and teach us how to rescue somebody who's drowning? And so we did this whole huge production where they came rolling up with their lights and sirens. We got the entire community pool to ourselves after hours. And so it was like, there was just this really cool thing that we were able to do that not a lot of other people were able to do. And so it built a lot of interest in it. And the video ended up getting 20 million views. So it's,
wow.
It ended up being a massive success for us because we raised the stakes and tried to do things that other people couldn't.
I love that. So there's not like a filter or something in Premiere that I could just...
Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you about the button you can press to go viral. It's
It's
just called Go Viral. It's on Facebook. You got to look for it, though.
Oh, man. Clients that ask that question, it's adorable. So, yeah, we want a viral video, so... can you make us viral? It's like, let me just give you permission as you're listening to this. When a client, because they will, when they ask you, if you can we make this a viral? We want to make a viral video. Set expectations, and it's okay to crush their expectation by just saying there's no guarantee here. This is a great idea. It's cool. Maybe it'll go viral. Maybe it won't. But do not. I repeat, do not make that a guarantee. Do not put that on your statement of work, scope of work, contract, anything like that. Because Scott is lying. There is no button. He's a liar.
I will say that if you, raw emotion is impossible to fake, right? You can tell when something is being staged for raw emotion. But comedic emotion, things that make you laugh, very easy to reproduce. And some of the people that I try to follow are Chamber Media, the Harmon Brothers. Those guys, they teach how to create scripts, how to write scripts that are humorous, that have a higher potential or higher likelihood of going viral. And so I would also say, follow some of those guys, because those guys, they know what they're doing. I think Harmon's got a script writing course. Yeah. Chamber has got I think they might have a script writing course as well now too. So take a look at those guys, because they know how to do viral content really well. They've hit it out of the ballpark a number of times.
I love Sandwich Video too. They've got some really good stuff.
Cool. Yeah.
You're like, I have no idea who that is.
I don't.
You definitely have seen the guy Adam from Sandwich Video, because he's in a lot of the videos. Super funny guy. But yeah, their stuff is pretty awesome. And if you know Wistia, they did a whole series of videos, and they worked with Sandwich on making that series. It was, what is it, 110 100 I think it was called, or something like that.
Sweet.
Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, Sandwich Video. There you go.
Yep, those guys.
Yeah, those guys.
Scott, this is super fun, man. It really, really interesting. I love where we ended up. I was going to have you do a whole audit of my 8 channels, and but we'll do that on the next episode.
Oh yeah.
Where can people follow along with all the stuff that you've got going on?
So we've got a Facebook community. It's called Video Marketing World. They can just search Video Marketing World, join our Facebook group. And then my website is graffiti.com. It's like graffiti without the G. Raffiti. I can't even spell it. .com. And that's our agency. So happy to answer questions. They can hit me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, where all the cool kids are at, LinkedIn.
Oh yeah.
That was a joke. Not very funny, but
oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I'm like, where's he going with this? Dude,
that would have killed it with the studio audience. You just need a studio audience. Either that or it would have been crickets. There you go.
Yes. There they are. There they are, folks. Oh, Scott, this was awesome, dude. I'm so glad that we connected. Thank you for sharing your story, and I'm so grateful for the success that you've had and wish you much more. Any parting words that you have for us today?
I think, yeah, the parting words that I have are, don't wait another day, start today. If you're going to start creating content for yourself, start today, because there's always a tomorrow and you'll always end up pushing it off. But the people who succeed are the ones who start right now, and then they don't stop until they make it. So go after it.
I love it. That's awesome. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this episode. I am really grateful that you're here. Like I was saying earlier, today, literally today, the Onward Summit finished up. I've never experienced anything like that before. It was so cool. The very first day, I'm not going to give away too much. We've filmed a whole bunch of stuff, and we'll share some stuff shortly. But it was one of the coolest things, and I am so thankful to be in this position to be able to host an event like that. And I hope that if you were on the fence, that you'll consider coming in the future. And just for reference, you can go sign up on the wait list right now if you go to studiosherpas.com/onward, and just let us know that you're interested in being notified when we open enrollment for that again, which is going to be a while from at this point, but never too early to start making plans for next year. That's it. That's all I have for you. Get in that Facebook group, the Grow Your Video Business Facebook group. Have an amazing day. Let me know if there's anything specific I can do, any kind of content that would be helpful for you and your video business. And that's all. I'm going to go take a nap. I hope you have an incredible day and an amazing week, and I'll talk to you real soon. See ya.